Yeah.
Hey, sports fans, PB&Z Sports Chaos, and it's Christmas time for men. NFL season, gentlemen.
Let's give a cheers to that.
Yeah.
Let's
go. Also pumpkin beer season.
4 months of football. We love it. All right, let's get right into this. G-Money. A lot of storylines going into the year. What is your number one storyline going into the 2024 NFL season?
Yeah, this year's been crazy as far as holdouts and greedy players and GMs drawing a line and not willing to negotiate to get these players signed so they're in on the team before the preseason started. So you have Chase, you have CeeDee Lamb, who just signed 10 days before they're playing. You have someone like Brandon Ayuk, who just signed 7 days before they're playing. So I'm wondering, it's just a weird dynamic that seems like the GMs have took the power back. The players used to have the power, and I think the NFL now has the power in the sense that they're drawing lines and they're saying, no, if you don't want to play, you're not going to play. And then they eventually fold, but they do it too late. And so it's weird to me.
So you blame this on the GM and the league officials?
I blame it on the players being greedy, but but I'm just saying, I think it's in the past, the players have always been greedy, maybe not to this extent, but in the past, the league would fold sooner. Now they wait till almost the season started, which is odd to me. So that's what is intriguing.
I'll just say this. I want to counter, because I think it's entirely the players. PBD, you and I, we're doing the show for 5 years, and we talk about the one guy who's never taken what his value is in the NFL, and his name is what?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, and why does he do it?
For the team.
For the team. It's a team sport. 22 players, 11 men on offense, 11 men on defense. If the guard and the center do not block right, the running back can't make the play happen. So you know what? When you hold out because you want more money than the offensive tackle has, you're taking yourself over the team. Yep. And as an offensive receiver, you can't win if the line can't block. Am I right, PB?
You're absolutely 100%. Right.
So I think these guys that are holding out and playing these games. By the way, Jamar Chase, he's got 2 years left on his friggin' contract.
Way too early to
negotiate. You're making more money than you ever would have made if you ever graduated from LSU in the first place, or wherever you went. So,
LSU,
your point. What do you got?
Mine's going to be the quarterback class. I'm looking at this quarterback class. It's very interesting. I think this could be the first time a quarterback class across the board actually ends up being stars. You've seen these draft classes come out, like the year with Zach Wilson and Trey Lance and stuff, and they just kind of fall off a cliff and never become anything. But when you look at Caleb Williams, when you look at Jaden Daniels, when you look at Drake May, who's the odd man out, not going to be starting for his team the first week of the season, you got J.J. McCarthy would have been starting, but obviously he's out for the year in injury. Guys like Bo Nix, who obviously won the starting job. Michael Penix, I think, will be a great player one day. He's not starting out of the gate, but I'm really looking forward to this quarterback class this year.
I got one question for you then. Is it better than 83?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I don't know if anything will
The last guy picked in that draft was Dan Marino.
Right.
You have Jim Kelly. You have John Elway. There's a couple other guys we won't talk about, like Tony Eason.
And Ben Blackledge, I think, was also in that draft.
Yes.
Right?
Was it Montana in that one too, or no?
No, he was earlier.
He was 79, I think.
83 is still the best, I think. But good point.
It's a good draft class.
Good point.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I'm going to add one other point to G Money's thing about holdouts. He didn't hold out at all. He's going to play the year on his last year. I think he's going to make $50 million. His name is Dak Prescott. Is this his last year playing for the Dallas Cowboys?
Yep, they're grooming Trey Lance to take over, even though Trey Lance sucks. I think
5 picks in his last preseason game.
I think they think highly of him, and I think Dak will go to another team next year.
PB, do you have a counter on that?
I do not. I think it's Dak's last year in Dallas as well.
Wow, Dak. By the way, Dak, you are being a team player. You're not asking for more money. You're just saying, give me a contract. You have not said what you want. You're not holding out. We'll see what happens. All right, give me a storyline for you, other than quarterbacks.
Other than the quarterbacks? Oh, man. Yeah, maybe where the Patriots are going to finish this year.
That's the one I want to hear. G-Money, are the Patriots going to have the number 1 draft pick in 2025?
No, they'll have 2 or 3 because their defense will win them enough games not to be the worst team in football.
I like that thinking. But I'm still with you. Maybe they might have the first draft pick next year.
It's them or the Giants, right?
Right. Yeah, I agree. Giants gonna be horrible.
Yeah. All right, I got one last one for you guys, and this one is an epic, historic one. Can the Kansas City Chiefs become the first three-peat team in NFL history?
They certainly can become. I mean, the chances are less and less. Like, it's hard to win all the way through and win in the NFL that way. We saw the Patriots go through stretches, but they only could win 3 out of 4 seasons, and Dallas won 3 out of 4. And Pittsburgh won 4 out of 6.
Yep.
I don't know, man. It's tough to do. It's a long road. We're going to make our predictions later, but I'm going to say they can, but they won't.
Okay.
I'm going to say the odds are stacked against them, so I don't think they will. I think they got lucky a few years and they made some triumphant comebacks in the Super Bowls, but I think their time has run out.
All right, before we get into real studs, let's talk about fantasy studs. Who's your fantasy favorite this year?
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall.
He is the next Marshall Faulk.
Wow.
right.
So you put him in the Hall of Fame already?
Well, it's a little soon, but
If you say Marshall Faulk, he has to be in the Hall of Fame.
True. No, but his talents remind me of Marshall Faulk. How about that?
Okay. What do you got?
I like Brees Hall a lot too. I think it's interesting to see who will dethrone Christian McCaffrey as the top running back in fantasy football. He gets consistently taken number 1 overall. He's taken number 1 overall, consensus number 1 overall this year. I think you got a Brees Hall. I think you got a Bijan Robinson. I think you may see a Jahmyr Gibbs sneak up on that conversation.
Wow.
Jonathan Taylor could break out and have a good year this year. I think all those guys potentially could dethrone CMC as that top guy.
But I think the one that has the least likely chance is Gibbs because of David Montgomery. They like to feed him the ball still.
Ooh. By the way, I don't do fantasy ever since Anna Nicole Smith died. So anyways, that was my last fantasy. All right. Offensive Player of the Year, G Money. Who you got?
Jaden Daniels.
Wait,
Player of the year?
Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year.
I always go to that. Offensive Player of the Year, Brees Hall.
Back to Brees Hall again. All right.
Who you got?
Hey, I'm going with another New York Jet. I think the Jets are going to have a powerful offense this year. I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson as my Offensive Player of the Year this
Do
year.
these guys not know the Jets haven't won a Super Bowl since 1969?
We're not saying they're going to
do.
win a Super Bowl. We're just saying they're going to have good
That
players.
usually means you have stud players. All right.
Hey, they're good.
All right. Offensive Player of the Year, I've got Tyreek Hill.
It's a good one, too.
Good
All right.
cheetah.
We're all in the same division. We're all in the
Yeah, right.
AFC East.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Who's your Defensive Player of the Year, G Money?
Defensive Player of the Year, I'm gonna go with the dude from Pittsburgh, the
TJ Watt?
DJ Watt. I think he's
He
gonna win.
always injured TJ Watt.
Yeah, I think he's gonna
Do you
have
think he plays more than four? What's he over under 14 games?
I think he plays 13. That's all he needs.
13 games to win Defensive Player of the Year.
He'll get 1.5 sacks. 1.5 sacks a year.
G-Money.
13 games to
You
win it.
can't win DPOY
Write it down. Write it down.
13 games.
At 1.5 sacks per game, he could.
No.
Oh, man.
I'm going to go with, I think it was last year's Defensive Rookie of the Year, but I'm going to go with a guy on the Texans who, number 2 pick overall in the draft last year. I look at the Texans team, great offensive team, okay defensive team, but I think they're going to be up in a lot of games to the point where the other team's going to be passing a lot, which is going to give...
Which is going to make G-Money spit up.
No, we had an
Because
accident.
we know where you're going with this.
Which is gonna
and
make-
This is crazy.
Will Anderson Jr. is going to have a lot of dropbacks to defend against it. He's going to have a chance to go and make a play. So I'm going to have him making, I'm going to say 14 or 15 sacks this year, and he is going to be the Defensive Player of the Year.
So basically you're calling him LT, Lawrence Taylor.
Wow.
Hey, I don't know if I'm going to...
That's a red flag in soccer and a yellow flag in football. Personal foul. Come on, man. Really? Hands
well
down,
done.
you know who it is, folks? It's Micah Parsons, the best player in the league. Easily. All right, MVP. Who do you got? G-Money.
For my MVP, I have who do I have? Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
A former Oklahoma Sooner. Where's my Sooner hat? Yeah, baby.
I think he's loaded with talent on offense. I think they're gonna have a good year, and I think it usually spells MVP.
You know, it's hard to go non-QB
It is.
for an MVP.
Yep.
It really is hard.
It hardly ever happens.
I'd like to go out on a limb and do that, but I'm going to go with the QB, but I'm still going to go out on a limb with my QB pick, and I'm going to go with Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers.
Wow.
That's a personal foul. Jordan Love.
Jordan
Are
Love.
you kidding me?
Yep.
You had him on the bench 2 years ago.
Hey, I got him winning the MVP this year.
Oh, man. All right. You know what? This is a guy, every year he's in the running. Every year he deserves it because everybody says There's another guy that was a little much better because his team did more than they should have done, even though Patrick's team does what they're supposed to do every friggin' year. I'm not a Chiefs fan, but Patrick Mahomes wins the MVP.
All right. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
It's a safe pick.
He's due,
like it.
for sure.
All right, let's go. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Obviously, you already said him.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, you know what? I do like Jaden Daniels. I think he could be a better quarterback in his career than Caleb Williams ends up being. But I'm going to go with Caleb Williams over Jaden Daniels. Here's the reason why. Jaden Daniels does not have the supporting cast that Caleb Williams has.
That's a good point.
I mean, you're talking about McLaren as his number one receiver, and then after that,
Which I could cover Terry McLaren when I was playing.
and they got rid of Jahan Dotson to the Eagles, right?
Another weapon for the Eagles.
So that puts Zacchaeus and De'Ama Brown as their next two receivers. Their tight ends washed up, and Zach Ertz, right? I know they drafted Sinnott. We'll see what he becomes. And they got rid of
Zach's wife is still hot.
I just don't think that team is where it needs to be. But we look at what Chicago did with their offense. They went out and got Keenan Allen. They went out and got DeAndre Swift. They have DJ Moore, right? They drafted Romo Dunze, who could be one of the top receivers that was on the draft.
I like Romo.
I think they put a nice group of weapons around Caleb Williams, and he is in the best position. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback, but he's in the best position to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
PB, you sold me because I was about to pick Jaden, but you're right. He has no one to throw to. I'm going to pick a guy that's going to catch the balls from a top 10 fantasy quarterback. His name is Kyler Murray from the U. And his receiver is Marvin Harrison Jr. to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
He could do it. I mean, he's going to have a good year.
Okay.
All right, let's do DPOY real quick. Who do you got?
The dude from the Colts, Tua, I think they say his name.
Something like
Tua.
Okay.
He's the number one defensive player picked. He's going to have 15 sacks.
All right, yeah. And he wasn't taken to 16th overall. He was
Right,
the
but he had
first
a great
defensive
year
player
last
taken
year.
off it. Yeah, I agree with you. But he was the number one defensive player taken in the draft. I'm going to go with another Green Bay Packer at cornerback.
We like cold stuff?
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Cold
Oh,
stuff.
he's drinking the Kool-Aid. He's drinking the Kool-Aid.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid McKinstry, defensive player, Rookie of the Year.
That is a cool name, though.
I'm going only because that's everybody in Vegas says it right now. Dallas Turner, the defensive back from Minnesota, I believe he played also at Alabama. So
Yeah, he did.
We'll see. All right, let's go to our divisional picks. Let's start AFC East. What do you think? G-Money.
Jet Jets.
That's a personal foul. Really? What do you got?
You know what? As much as I hate to say it, I think Buffalo has digressed a little bit. Miami defensively has digressed a little bit. I got to go with the Jets. I think both sides of the ball. I think when you look at both sides of the ball,
This is a double. You got a soccer personal red flag. You got a yellow flag. For football. Really? The Jets?
I'm going with the Jets.
Guys, you're in New England. We don't pick anybody from New York ever.
Hate to say it, but
I like the Jets a lot. They got Aaron freaking Rodgers, the most ugliest guy in America. So I got to pick Buffalo Bills.
all right. It's a good pick. I like Buffalo too.
No, they'll have a good year.
All right, go to the North, and AFC North.
The Bengals.
Yeah, I'm right there with them. I think they go from worst to first.
Yep.
They were the last place team. That means they have a last place schedule. They have an easier schedule.
They got a healthy QB.
Joe Burrow's back. And I think this kid Chase Brown at running back is going to surprise a few people. I think it's the Bengals.
I'm with both you guys almost, except the Jamar Chase holdout causes a lot of disorientation on that offense. And the one team that has the most solid offense, and now they added a Hall of Fame running back in Derrick Henry. Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP, wins the division once again. Baltimore wins that.
Do you know they lost 3 offensive linemen, right?
They have 3 offensive linemen in the group. They're waiting. They
I
played
know.
last year. These 3 guys played last year when they had injuries last year.
Me and G have Henry averaging 3.3 yards a
Yep,
carry.
at
this
least.
year.
But if he
at the
averages-
most. At the
if
most.
he averages 5, I win our Survivor League. So, all right, let's go down the South.
The Colts.
Wow.
Okay.
I think they had a good, decent team last year, and they got a better QB. They're healthier. They got some good
Yeah,
pickups.
Anthony Richardson, if he stays healthy
Right.
for a whole year, you're
Yeah.
right. A lot of fantasy people like him a lot. We'll see.
Yeah, and it's interesting you have the Texans not repeating. A lot of people are very high on the Texans. I do not like the Texans to win this division, but I'm not going to go with the Colts. I'm actually going to go with the Trevor Lawrence-led Jacksonville Jaguars.
By the way,
That's right.
I want to see Trevor succeed, but Jacksonville has no other talent on the team.
Oh,
but him.
wait,
That's
Travis
a
Etienne.
double
Wait,
person.
Travis Etienne
All right,
is not
Travis Etienne,
talented.
but he got
Brian
no
Thomas
defense.
Jr., who they just drafted.
Listen, I hope you're
on.
right, but I don't see it happening.
All right.
I get the Texans as well.
Christian Kirk, very underrated receiver.
I covered Christian Kirk.
You got the Jags too?
No, he got
I
Houston.
the Texans.
Oh, you
So we
the
got
Texans.
three.
Oh,
We got three
different
different-
teams winning
yeah.
that one. Okay, that's a crapshoot.
All right, let's go out west.
It pains me to say this, the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's Kansas City Chiefs all the way.
Yep.
All right, easy
All
one
right,
there.
wild cards. Who do you got? Wild cards. Your 3 wild cards.
3 wild cards. Buffalo Bills, Jacksonville Jaguars,
Okay.
and my third one would reside in
Houston, right?
Houston. Houston.
So no Baltimore.
No Baltimore.
He got no Baltimore.
You got a triple personal foul. You're out of here for the year.
Houston's
Yeah.
horrible.
Well, guess what, fans? I don't have Baltimore in the playoffs either. I have those as my out teams. I do also have the Houston Texans and the Buffalo Bills as 2 of those wild cards, but my other one is going to be the Miami Dolphins.
So that's the only difference, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
By the way, soccer player, golf player, career football player. Anyways, the wild cards will be the Bengals, Jets, and this is where I get a little hung. It's a 3-way tie for me. It's your Miami Dolphins, her Miami Dolphins, your Jags, and I got a one that no one will believe, but I think the coach can pull this off. Pittsburgh Steelers is going to be better than people think. 3-way tie. I do have Miami winning the tiebreaker.
All right. I think Tomlin has his first sub 500 year.
Yeah, I think he's due for a regression.
Okay. All right, let's go to the NFC East.
The Eagles.
Yeah.
They're a dominant team.
Too much talent. There's too much talent on that both sides of the ball in Philadelphia.
Stacked.
And then you look at not just the skill positions either. You look at the offensive line, defensive line.
Quarterbacks now?
I know they lost Kelsey, but that's still going to be okay.
Center's a huge
They don't-
loss.
But they
Well,
don't.
they had
need-
Cam Jurgensen that they've been.
and
They've been
they're
planning
not going to
for.
have to rely on the tush push as much because they got Saquon Barkley there now too. So I think this team is just the only thing that could be their demise is the head coach and Sirianni. But
He's the worst coach in football,
but
in my
other
opinion.
than that, they
But
should win that division.
by default, they win it despite the coach. You're right. And by the way, the only other thing, PB, what has never happened in the NFC East in like 30 years?
Yeah, the team is repeated.
And the Cowboys won last year. So unfortunately, Cowboys, I know I love you. You're not going to win the division, but you will be my wild card team. I got Philly winning that division. as
All
well.
right.
Gee, what do you got for wild cards?
No, we got to go. Wait, we got to go north.
Yeah.
Oh, North. I'm sorry. Yeah, North.
North, I have the Carolina Panthers.
No,
No,
that's
you
not the
don't.
north. That's the south.
North. Green Bay.
Oh, sorry.
Another
Detroit.
team that
Yeah, I
never
don't know
wins.
North and South. Detroit Lions.
And you know what? I got Detroit too. Too much. I think Green Bay will challenge them, but I
Well,
think
they have your MVP.
They have my MVP. So I think
I'm with you guys. Detroit wins that thing.
All right.
All right, let's go to the South.
Well, I already said it. The Panthers. I'm going on a wild card whim. I go from worst to
This
first.
is a
Florida
three-time-
Panthers. Oh no, Carolina.
Panthers.
The Florida Panthers have a better shot than the Carolina Panthers
No,
for winning this division.
I honestly think they got a lot more talent this year. The QB will be better. He has a weapon in Dante Johnson. I think they're going to be good, and they're going to win like 9-8. They're going to win 9 games. That's all it's going to need for that division. It's a crap division.
I think it's going to take 10 to maybe win, but I got the Falcons. I think the Falcons can win double-digit games this year. And
They're loaded
too
on
much-
offense.
too much
Now
off-
they have a quarterback.
Right.
Now
And-
they have a quarterback, right?
And they'll struggle defensively, but it won't matter because their offense is going to be that stacked. We talked about, Kirk Cousins is there. We talked about Bijan earlier. Drake London could have a big year.
Drake London's kind of the biggest breakout year of the season.
Kyle Pitts could have his breakout year. Finally have
finally
his breakout
Kyle
year.
Pitts, yep,
So
yep.
there's too much weapons there.
And they're still pretty decent. And by the way, the only other team that could compete was not going to be Carolina. It's going to be the reigning champs, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's not that bad.
Oh, I think they'd have a down year.
They still have all their players back, though. So I see Tampa Bay being right there. But they won't win it. All right, let's go out west. Who do you got west?
The 49ers, you got to stick with them. They're heads above everyone else in that
Yeah.
division.
I agree too. They've been to so many consecutive NFC Championship games. Shanahan's the man. The team is loaded.
Great coach.
Offense is loaded. Defense is still defense, right? All right, what do you got in the wild cards?
The wild cards, I have the Bears. I have the Packers.
Wow, the Bears.
Yeah.
From last to wild card.
Yeah, Packers, the Bears, and Washington. I'm going off on limbs here.
This is like a triple. You have 3 teams that weren't even in the playoffs last year.
No, Packers were in.
Oh, Packers. Yeah, right.
I have 2 teams that weren't in.
Wow, but the
Yeah.
Bears?
I do think
And
they
the
have a solid
Commanders.
team this year. Yeah,
Wow.
and I think the Commanders have a good team. Their offensive line is a weakness, but if they can overcome that, they'll be in the playoffs.
All right, PB. Please set the
My
table,
my
right?
wild card. He doesn't have Dallas even in the playoffs. Do you notice
No,
that?
I think they're gonna.
So
8
I
and
think
9.
Dallas does get in, but my next two teams are going to be the same two that 2 out of 3 he picked. One of which is the Green Bay Packers. Well, Green Bay Packers.
Okay, all
Okay,
right.
okay.
Hang on, I take that back.
Okay, but the other one that I have is the Washington Commanders. The
PB,
Washington.
you just said a few minutes ago when we were picking the offensive rookie of the year, they have no wide receivers. Like
I said
G
not enough.
Money and
I said
could
not
play
enough.
wide receiver.
I didn't say no. I said
They
not
have
enough.
no wide receivers. No, you were right the first time. They have no wide receivers. Who catches the ball?
I'm still putting them in the playoffs. I think they can go 9 and 8 or
Tampa
10
Bay
and 7
has
squeeze
Chris
in.
Godwin and Mike Evans. Two of them could be in the Hall of Fame. And
They also
I
have
know
Mayfield.
Baker's so, but Baker's an Oklahoma quarterback. Really?
I get. Yep. Sorry. See, that's what I got. What about you?
All right,
Wild card.
Cowboys, Packers, Rams. Oh, the Rams! Matthew Stafford, future Hall of Fame quarterback. 2 fantasy studs in Puka Nacua, however you say his name.
Nakua.
And Cooper Kupp, the guy you hate, always is leading the fantasy, right? I know they lost Aaron Donald,
It's a big loss.
but their offense is going to be much better this year. Kyron Williams was a rookie last year. It's going to be better this year. I believe he's like the 4th or 5th best running back this year in fantasy. Correct, you fantasy boys?
Top 8, right?
Yeah, maybe top 8. I
There
think
you go.
I think Blake Corum might show a few people.
The
this year that
Chargers,
he's
I
a-
got with you. I got with that. But
No, Blake Corum for the Rams.
No, he's a Chargers.
Blake Corum?
Yes, he plays for head coach. Blake Corum's on the Chargers.
No, I
Blake
think
Corum.
I think
You
he's
got to
on
do your
the-
homework there, Mr. Z. Blake Corum's on the Rams.
Go look it up.
Maybe you're thinking of Vidal.
for Dalsa soon.
All right, Super Bowl.
Yep. Super Bowl. Oh no, you want to know the 4?
Yeah,
yeah.
AFC Conference.
The Jets versus the Bengals.
Oh, that's pretty good. What do you got?
I'm gonna go Chiefs, Bengals in the AFC.
Chiefs, Bengals. Okay. I got Chiefs too, and I got Baltimore.
Of course.
All right.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid.
He's drinking the Kool-Aid. He's drinking the Kool-Aid from McKinstry.
I get the best running quarterback in the league all time. Yes.
Drinking a
NFC.
margarita.
He does like the margaritas. NFC, I have Detroit and Philly.
I'm gonna go Detroit, San Fran.
I'm with you, Detroit, San Fran.
Okay.
All right. So that means who wins the Super Bowl? No, who goes to the Super Bowl? I'm
Yep,
sorry.
it's gonna be Philly versus Bengals.
With the
Who wins?
Bengals. Finally, Joe Burrow finally gets his
Wow.
championship.
If Joe Burrow doesn't sprain his little groin muscle again or whatever.
I'm gonna go Detroit
Wow.
against Kansas City with a chance to three-peat, but unfortunately, this is the time that they don't, and Detroit wins. So Detroit Lions over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
I kind
this
of hope
year.
you're right. I want Detroit to win. I feel bad for them. It's been
I
what?
do too.
Never. They have never
The
won.
day Detroit wins the Super Bowl is the day I die. So, anyways, I've got Baltimore going against San Fran. I think Lamar gets his final title in any sport.
Oh, I disagree.
Baltimore. They just can't. They can't get over the hump.
Yeah.
They're like they just can't get over the hump.
We'll see.
They can't
we'll
get over
see,
the
we'll
hump.
see. All right, that's a wrap, fans.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
me.
to our studio choreographer. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
How do you say that in
Choreographer.
Venezuelan?
The Dolphins are going to play the Patriots, and the Dolphins are going to be the winner. So just write it down.
The
Goodbye.
Dolphins are going to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
This decade?
Another country heard from. Another country heard from.
Put that down. Bye.